This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a car. It's the two-door coupe that was there for your first drive. The hatchback that took you cross-country and back. And the minivan that tackles the weekly carpool. For the cars you couldn't live without, trust Amica Auto Insurance. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
About it. We interrupt the open of the program for this special news bulletin. The fan has learned that Niko Medved is going to be the next coach of the Minnesota Golden Gopher men's basketball team. A news conference is about to commence. Standing by is Mr. Golden Gopher himself, Justin Gaard. He's there at the University of Minnesota getting ready for the press conference. Seems like it's a very emotional and very festive atmosphere there, JG.
Yeah, we just wrapped up the rouser because those are the rules, and now the entire room has gone silent. So I'm going to pretend I'm Jim Nance, and I'm going to kick it to Paul Rovnak.
Okay, sounds good.
In a few moments, I'll welcome Director Coyle to the stage. Director Coyle will then offer a brief opening statement. He will welcome our new men's basketball coach to the stage. At that time, there will be opportunities for photos. Coach Medved will then offer an opening statement, and then we'll take questions from the media. If you are a member of the media and have a question, please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation. We'll bring a microphone to you for the question. Once the press conference has concluded, Director Coyle will be available off to the side of the stage for additional questions. Thank you again for being here, and now I'd like to welcome Director of Athletics, Mark Coyle, to the stage.
Thank you, Paul, and good morning to everybody. I appreciate everybody coming out on such short notice, but what an exciting day for Gopher Athletics. I want to take a second and recognize President Cunningham. She got here back in July, and she's been absolutely awesome, has been so supportive of this process and of our athletic department, our student athletes. So President Cunningham, thank you for your support. Our board leadership, obviously when you make changes like this with a significant program, it requires a lot of people to be on board with us. And our board leadership has been phenomenal with our student athletes, so we're grateful for that. I also want to thank our men's basketball student athletes. I see some of you scattered about. I know anytime you go through a coaching transition, it creates anxiety, the unknown. I appreciate how all of you represented our basketball program. The way you've handled yourself has been first class, and I truly appreciate that. And I promise you, you're going to absolutely love playing for Coach Medved when he gets started here today. I also want to thank our co-workers in the athletic department. I'm so fortunate to work with so many great people. A shout out to Dusty and Julie who helped me out this process. Being on the basketball committee and traveling and trying to interview coaches and that type of stuff was a lot. And Julie and Dusty, I really appreciate your help in that process. I want to take a second. Erica, Ali Taylor, Nico, I want to thank you for believing in us. Minnesota is a special place. My family, we've moved a lot. I understand that's hard. It's transition, and I hope you know how much we appreciate you believing in us and coming to Minnesota. I promise you it's going to be a great experience. Now, when I talk about Nico, I had a conversation with Jim Delaney, the former commissioner of the Big Ten, when I first got to Minnesota. And he talked about how winners win. And if you look at Nico and his background, winners win. If you look at some of the coaches we brought in here the past few years, Keegan with volleyball, Aaron with soccer, Bob with men's hockey, Dawn with women's basketball, they all had a proven track record of winning at a high level and doing things the right way. And when you take a step back and look at Nico and what he's done, especially the past 4 years at Colorado State, but his entire time there, going to the NCAA tournament, winning Mountain West Conference championships, there is no doubt in my mind that we have found the right person to lead our young man and lead this program. So please welcome head coach Nico Medved. Or maybe no photos. I'm going to do that to you.
Wow. Surreal being here today. First thing, obviously I want to thank President Cunningham and Mark for believing in me. You're going to hear me talk a lot about this team together thing, but my team, my wife Erica, who's been with me from the beginning, you have no idea what wives go through. My beautiful daughters, Allie and Taylor, they already got their maroon and gold on. What? They were in green and gold, 36 hours ago? My dad, Miro, my mom, Karen, my brother, Anton, my brother, Alexi, my sister-in-law, Sarah. Peter already here in the Gopher gear here today. You guys look great. But you know what? I want to start here. I want to talk about Ben for a second. Ben is my friend. I've known Ben forever. He's part of Gopher basketball history. He played here. He poured his heart and soul into this program. And you know what? He's always going to be a part of this. And I just want to make sure that people understand that, this has been a difficult time in college athletics. Part of him got thrown in the middle of this, and Ben's going to get another opportunity to be a head coach if that's what he chooses, and he's going to be terrific. And so I want to make sure that I say that today, and I hope, Ben knows he's always welcome around Gopher basketball. Listen, I know how rare it is to live a life that you dreamed of. And, I think my dad, you were telling me yesterday via text, I think it was before I was born. So I'm 51. So before I was born, my dad had season tickets, to go for basketball. Maybe I was 5 or 6 years old. And, I remember going to the barn, and watching games. I remember where our seats were, their kitty corner, from where our Gopher bench is now. I grew up going to games. I love the energy in the barn. It's where I really started to love college basketball. I had an opportunity. I played all the sports growing up. I had an opportunity to come as a student manager. I've been an assistant coach here. I've taken my teams here at Furman and Drake to play. It's just a magical place. And so, to be back here right now, it just feels surreal. All I wanted was an opportunity to be a Division I head basketball coach, and to see it all come full circle here is just really, really amazing. Why Minnesota? I've seen this place at its best. I believe we have everything it takes here to be successful. We have one of the best universities in the country. We play in the premier league in the country. We have, in my opinion, the best community in the Big Ten. We play in a historic venue that, in my opinion, when it's right, is one of the best places to watch a game and be at a game in college basketball. And I just feel like now is the time. We've went through this transition in college athletics, and now is the time more than ever that Minnesota's poised to take the next step forward. I can't wait to get started. I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to pour my heart and soul into this. You can count on me to do that. And what's interesting about Minnesota is, and I know this from growing up, and you'll hear this, our slogan is team together. And it's going to take everyone to be successful. It does in every walk of life. But Minnesotans, when they care about their neighbors, they care about each other, they take a tremendous amount of pride in their state, tremendous amount of pride in their university. And when we rally together, this place is unbelievable. I've seen Minnesotans do that. I've seen them come together and support something unlike anything. And I've seen it done here before. And I believe we can do that again. It's going to take all of us. It starts with me. It starts with our coaches. It starts with the kind of young people that we bring here into the program. You have my word. We'll work on that to do that at the highest level. But it's going to take all of us. But you can feel it. Minnesotans band together unlike any place that I've ever seen and been. And I know that, having been here. And we're going to do that here. We're going to do that. And I think now in today's era of college athletics, we're more poised than ever to take the next step. And I look forward to seeing the barn packed, a big game, maybe against a rival, down south, down east, and finding a way to pull it out and having the fans celebrate, seeing ourselves back in the NCAA tournament, seeing ourselves playing in that game, vying to go to the Sweet 16, and building a consistent winner here. And I know when we do that, this place will rally to a level hopefully we've never seen before. So I'm really excited for the opportunity. Go Gophers. I suppose people would, you learn me, I can ramble forever. I kind of am who I am that way, but I think people probably want to ask me questions.
If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone to you.
Time for 2 more questions, guys.
Joe Schmidt, Channel 5. Welcome back, Nico. You said you're poised right now. The university is poised to make the next step. What makes you believe that? Because other coaches have felt the same thing on this day.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think, there's a lot of things, but I think I really believe in what we do and how we do it and the formula to make that happen. I think it's interesting. This is the 3rd head coaching job I've had at a place that I was an assistant prior. And I think the one thing that does help you when you come in here, you kind of have an immediate vision of what that needs to look like, how you can hit the ground running, what works, at a place like Minnesota. I think that really helps us. Everybody knows it. It's no secret. We're in a changing landscape of college athletics. I believe Minnesota and the Big Ten, with what's moving forward now, is going to be positioned from a rev share NIL perspective to compete. I believe that the people from the top down understand that that's what it's going to take for us to compete. So I think you put all those things together. Now is the time to really get this moving in the right direction.
Andy Gruder, St. Paul Pioneer Press, welcome back. I just wanted to ask you mentioned Ben Johnson, and his roster from last year to this year was gutted, and NIL was a big part of that. Taking aside revenue share for a second, because that's the floor of what's coming, but NIL is the limitless ceiling here. What needs to happen with NIL at Minnesota, and how do you win if you don't have all the resources of Big Ten competition?
Well, I think 2 things. You can't win if you don't. Everybody understands that. But I think it's also important to understand just because you have the most money doesn't guarantee you're going to be successful. All you have to do is look around college athletics the last couple years. So I think both of those things do matter. I believe this. I believe there's plenty of people here who want to get behind and support this. And I will say this, probably the one thing that's really unique is fans and people have an opportunity to directly impact our success in a way that they've never been able to before. So I think part of it is our job, getting people to believe in what we're doing and realize, hey, this is a program, a place, and people that I really want to get behind here to do that. I believe that the people here are committed to understanding what that looks like as far as raising money. Heck, let's hope people today go out right when we're done with this and join Dinkytown Athletics, right? But those are great questions. That's the truth of what's going on right now. But I think we can make it happen here. I really do.
Dawn Mitchell, Fox 9. Welcome back. You speak about being poised and changes, and I know you're going to dig your hands deeper in the next couple of weeks and months. But from the outset, what is perhaps the number one change that you feel in your mind that the way you coach, the way you run a program, you have to implement when you get here?
I mean, I'm a big people person. I think where it's worked for us everywhere is just having the right people on board. It starts with the staff. I mean, that's the number one thing is, we've got to get that right. And I believe that we will. I've had tremendous coaches with me along the way. A lot of them have had opportunities to become head coaches, other ones that are on their way. But it's all about starting with that support system, that people who all believe in what we're doing, pulling in the same direction. It's no different with players. I mean, listen, it's talent acquisition business, right? There's never been a great coach who hasn't had great players. I've just coached my third, NBA player here. But the one thing that's in common about all the guys that we've coached, they're tremendous young men. So they're talented, but they're tremendous young men, and they do want to be part of something bigger than themselves and they learn through that. They get everything they want individually. So I think it's talent, but it's finding the right people. So that's the number one thing we have to do. Obviously, the transfer portal open, recruiting starts immediately. So staff and recruiting is the number one thing. And then right behind that is just engagement. It's engagement in the community. It's trying to get people to understand our vision, what we do, hopefully get people excited about that and want to get on board.
Nico, congratulations. Marcus Fuller, Star Tribune. Can you talk a little bit about the success you had at Colorado State, from the time you were there until the time you left? And also the pieces that you had there, do you anticipate maybe, obviously it happens in coaching searches where players might jump from one school to the other, but also the staff that was already here, what you would retain, and then also players?
Yeah, that's a process. I mean, I can say this, unless he doesn't want to be here, Dave Thorson will have the opportunity to stay with us. He's been with me. We go way back, and so I hope that's what happens. I believe it will. I don't want to put Dave on the spot here, but I think he's all in. Can we count on you, Dave? All right, see where we go. You just heard it here. All right. I will definitely bring, some of my staff with me. Brian Cooley, who is with us, is here today. Joe Deciman is with us, is here today. But, we have to get that working. At Colorado State, again, it started with us. I think we do a great job of player evaluation, player development, finding the right people to start with here. It starts with our current roster. We've got some guys here in our current roster that, love to be a part of this moving forward. And hopefully we get an opportunity to do that here, even starting today. I've already had, conversation that they're going to get excited about that. So it starts there. As far as players, at our other program, I'm not ready to go there yet. You gotta understand, guys. I mean, I was in Seattle trying to beat Maryland to go to the Sweet 16, and we lose on a last, and just been an unbelievable season. And 20 hours later, I'm here in Minneapolis. It's the way that the world works today. So I think for those guys, I told every one of them when I talked to them how much I love them, how proud I am of them, and they just need to take a couple of days here to process what happened, to be proud of what they did and enjoy it, because I don't want to take that from them. They've earned that, and so those things are for another day.
Chris Long from KSTP. Did he travel? No, I'm kidding. You've already answered that. They
didn't call one, so that's all that matters.
I heard, yeah. Could you have imagined when you were packing up to leave after that year here as an assistant that you'd be able to make that call to your parents and say, hey, I'm coming home?
No. I mean, if I'm being honest, it's no secret. I mean, they'd tell me I I remember I dream, hey, whatever I could do to be a Division I head coach today would be a dream come true. God, could you ever imagine? I mean, being a head coach at Colorado State, we'd been there as an assistant, that came true. And then this was something, of course, I dreamed of, and just to have it become a reality, it hasn't hit me yet. You know what I mean? Really, it hasn't hit me, but it will. But no, I couldn't, but dreams can come true. Do you know what I mean? That's what life is. And if you really believe in something and you stick with it and you get the right people who support you, anything can happen. And it's amazing to be sitting here today.
Welcome home. Nadine Babu from gopherhole.com. Obviously, there's so much talk about NIL, but outside of NIL, what other areas of support do you feel that you need, or did you ask Mark Coyle about during your interview process?
I believe that everything else we do have here, and some of those things I think you kind of have to get into the big time, the big 30,000 foot view things we have here. I mean, look at this facility. Do you know what I mean? That we have, we're in the Big Ten. I mean, this is the premier, conference in the country. I believe those things. Obviously, I'm connected. You talk to the right people, who are here and have said those things. And I think it also helps me to understand, like you said, Nadine, that I've been here before. I kind of know what this looks like and what works. I think as you maybe get further into it, right, you start, hey, maybe this would be something that we need really to move us to the next level. And listen, I believe Mark and them are committed to doing that. I really do. I mean, I think they know how important it is to get our program up and running. And I'm just excited to see that. When it happens, I just think it's going to be transformative.
Hey, Nico, Dave Campbell with Associated Press. I'm wondering when you joined the program in the 90s as a manager, if there was like a light bulb moment where you're like, yes, I want to be a head coach.
Gosh, it probably started for me when I had an opportunity to work the Nike All-American camp, and Coach Haskins at the time got me in with George Raveling, and getting to kind of spend some time doing that. When look at so many of the people that were working and that were involved with that, and it was maybe around that time where I knew I always wanted to coach, but I'll be honest, growing up, somebody said, hey, you can be the head coach at Roseville High School. You know what I mean? You said, man, that would be awesome to get an opportunity to do that. And then as my career kept going, I kept dreaming bigger and bigger. But I would say it was kind of about that time when I really got to connect with those people that it started thinking, you know what, this is what I want to do.
Daniel House, GophersGuru.com. Nico, this business is really demanding. It requires a lot of sacrifice, relentless work ethic, just a commitment to excellence. What kept you driven and motivated as you worked to this moment in your career?
I think because I got into coaching because I love coaching. I think there's so many other things that go into it. Obviously, everybody knows the financial gains, the notoriety, all that stuff that comes with it. But I know at my core, that's not why I got into coaching. There was no money in coaching when I first got into it. My parents will tell you it was just always something that was in me, coaching, teaching, mentoring. And there's all the other things that you have to be good at and skilled at to do it. But I think what's kept me in it is at its core, that's who I am. And it's like this season, with this team that we had, it just brings back faith again that, in everything that's going on in today's world, you get a group of guys that are just pulling for one another, and we're all pulling in the same direction. We love being together every day. They're willing to sacrifice. And so it's the way we've always done it, although the circumstances around it might be different. And we had, unbelievable success. But it's that keeps me going, that feeling of seeing people get better, teams get better, and just being a part of it. And that's always been with me, and it'll always be with me.
Time for 2 more questions, guys.
Hey, Nico, congratulations, Reggie Wilson with Care 11. We've seen some first-year coaches like Dennis Gates, Ben McCollum, even Cal and Arkansas, be able to come in and take the program to the tournament in year one. Is that something you feel energized to do? Is that a goal here?
That'd be amazing. You know what I mean? And I mean, we want to be as good as we can now. You know what I mean? I mean, that's ultimately the goal, to do that. That's one. But I think the big thing is we want to build something sustainable here. We want to have sustained success. So I hope that happens in year one. But the bigger thing is to have sustained success. I mean, I want people who move to the Twin Cities or they're around to say, hey, have you been to Gopher basketball game? Oh man, you gotta go to Gopher basketball game if you can get a ticket. You know what I mean? That's my vision for this. And when you do that, it's because you built a consistent winner and you have a product that people want to come out and see. And but short term, yeah, I mean, we want to be as good as we can next year. I mean, that is the goal starting today.
Could you explain a little bit in deeper detail your team together? I guess your version of row the boat, so to speak.
Oh man, it's not row the boat, but for me, I mean, if you look at who I am, my players would tell you I'm the most competitive person they've been around. I may not come across like that all the time. What you see is what you get, but I'm a competitive dude now. But the other thing with me is I really value team. And so I've just always felt like, I got into coaching because I want to be part of something bigger than myself. I think when you can get people to do that, to kind of sacrifice something and really invest in others and the team, it's really powerful things happen. And to be great, you need everybody involved. It starts, like you said, it starts with the coaches and the players, but it starts with the administration here. But then really, it's our fans, it's our supporters, all those things. We need everybody pulling in the same direction. And I think we really, listen, if you want people to invest, you do that through connection. I'm a big believer. You get investment through connection. And so when you can connect with people that way and people feel connected to you and what you're doing in your program, I think that's where you really start to spur an investment. And I just believe in that. And the more people you get connected, the more people you get invested, it just starts to spiral. And that's what it's about. It's a slogan, but really for us, we try to live that as a way of life.
Nico, the barn's going to turn 100 in a couple of years. How do you look at that place as far as the formula to winning and renovations needed there?
So listen, I follow this from a distance. I've heard all the knocking of the barn. I mean, I told you what that place means to me. Here's what I would say, and I think we've done this at other jobs where there's been this feeling of, well, here's why we can't do it. Here's why it hasn't worked before. But to focus in on why we can. And here's the thing about the barn. I think we can turn that into a strength. I think we can turn that into a strength of the program. Everybody's talking about like, oh, this is the problem. I think it could be a strength. And I think it's one of the most historic venues in all of college basketball. Have you been to Fog Allen? Have you been to Cameron Indoor Stadium? Those places are not, Now, sure, down the road, are there enhancements you might have to make and do some things to try to modernize it? Yeah. But I love walking in that. I think when people walk, and who've all been there before, when that place is packed, there's a certain energy in there that's different. You're on the stage than anywhere you go. There's ghosts in Williams Arena. Do you know what I mean? In a good way, And so I just think that I look at it, I want that to be a strength of our program, is that, man, we got to go play in the barn tonight. You ain't getting out of the barn alive, and that's going to take time. But I look at it that way.
Nico, I know that it's no secret that the state of Minnesota has a lot of talent and that you've recruited here before. I think I've seen some players here, Dawson Garcia, Parker Fox in the back here. What is it about the recruiting Minnesota that excites you now that you're the Gophers coach, and also balancing that with the portal and maybe not having as many scholarships for high school players?
Yeah, I think starting from the end, I mean, clearly, the transfer portal is a big part of this, but we'll always recruit high school players. I think you always have to have players developing in your program. I think that's really important. I think we've done that really well at the places that we've been. It's been funny growing up here as a kid to just watch high school basketball in Minnesota be transformed. And it's amazing when you're around the country, you talk to people, everyone comes up here to recruit now because there's high level players, Obviously we had an NBA player that came from Minneapolis that played for us at Colorado State. We've got a few others, on our roster that way. So there's great talent here. There's terrific coaching. There's terrific resources around it. I'm biased, but I just think basketball runs deep in the state of Minnesota. I think people are dying for a winner here. I think what helps us is, I know a lot of these people. I have close relationships and understand kind of the landscape and the history of how it works here. I think it starts one by one, but changing the narrative of you can come right here and have everything you need and want to be successful. You can develop personally, you can develop as a player, you can win at the highest level, you can play in the best league in the country, and obviously selling our track record doing that, how we've been able to do that at other players and getting people to believe it. Sometimes it just takes one. It takes one saying, I'm all in, I'm coming, you know what I mean? I want to be a Gopher. And then what happens? The next guy wants to do that. And so we'll work really hard on that, but it's not just Minnesota. The Big Ten has a national brand. I think it's going anywhere that we need to go to find the talent and the people that we need to win. Go to the NCAA tournament, do the things that we need to be successful.
Okay, at this point, we will duck out. That is, Team Together era has begun at Dinkytown. We'll take a short break. We'll straddle the 44 stations all along the Common Man Radio Network, letting you know we'll straddle the 45. Justin Gaardsy, JG, he'll join us. He's there. He'll join us, and we'll get all of his reaction to all of the news conference action. It was Nico Medved, new head basketball coach for the men's program at the University of Minnesota, back after this year on the Fan.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1, go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games, all for free?
Step 4, unleash your excitement.
Woohoo! Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a car. It's the two-door coupe that was there for your first drive. The hatchback that took you cross-country and back. And the minivan that tackles the weekly carpool. For the cars you couldn't live without, trust Amica Auto Insurance. Amica. Empathy is our best policy.
Struggling to get out of bed? It might be time for an upgrade. Lisa makes exceptionally comfortable mattresses designed for every body and budget. But what truly sets them apart is their commitment to giving back. Since 2015, they've donated over 41,000 mattresses nationwide. Elevate your sleep in your space with Lisa. Go to lisa.com for 20% off their award-winning mattresses, plus an extra $50 off with promo code IHEART. That's LEESA.com. Promo code IHEART for an extra $50 off.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Dan.
How rare it is to live a life that you dreamed of. And gosh, I think my dad, you were telling me yesterday via text, I think it was before I was born. So I'm 51, so before I was born, my dad had season tickets to go for basketball. Maybe I was 5 or 6 years old, and I remember going to the barn and watching games.
Come Together. No, not Come Together. That's the Beatles. This is Team Together. That was Nico Medved, his news conference just moments ago over at... Let's bring in Justin Gaardsy in the conversation. Are you at the Bierman Building? Where are you right now?
It's called Athletes Village. Yeah, I'm adjacent to the Bierman Building.
Okay.
And it's good being you. I got to say that. A noon press conference. Now, speaking of living the life you dreamed of,
yeah.
you got Rosen coming in at 2. You got me for 10 minutes. The first 45 are done. It's good being the common man, isn't it?
10? I thought you were going to take it to the top of the hour with me.
Time for 2 more. By the way, I was telling Abbott that the time for 2 more was audible in the press conference room here.
No, really?
Because the headsets are turned up pretty loud here at a couple of headsets. So as it started, Bob Hagan made his made his presence felt here at Athletes Village Floor 3 Basketball Performance Center.
We've got Row the Boat. We now have Team Together. Your thoughts on the slogan from Niko Medved? Do you like it?
It's fine. Every coach has a slogan. Every coach has their way of life. It's fine. It seems like it's worked for him. Really, the biggest thing I took from the press conference comment is what Mark Coyle said at the top of it, that this guy has won everywhere that he's been. He's won 3 of the last 4 years, big time at Colorado State. And now we can see if he can be the one that can turn this thing around and actually wake up the echoes and bring out the ghosts of Williams Arena that he talked about towards the end of the press conference, because I was counting it up. This is my 4th coaches press conference that I've had here in my time just at the Fan, and I think 6th or 7th in my lifetime. So a lot of good coaches have come. A lot of good coaches have gone. Richard Pitino reminded us they've all been fired from here. Funny. And so we'll see if Niko's the one that can turn it around. But he is an established dude that's done it every other spot, and I think this was probably the reason that Mark Coyle made the move on Ben Johnson, is he thought it was Niko's time, because they obviously moved pretty quickly to get this thing done.
They, obviously talked a lot about nil money. Just we ain't got a lot of money, as we like to say, and it looks like he realizes. I mean, he said so. He said, "Look, we all know we got to have nil money." Do you think that, and I know you can't open up the pocketbooks of high-heeled boosters or well-oiled companies, but do you think with the new coach and he'll have that kind of a ability to raise some money? I mean, and how much of it is on him anyway?
Well, I would say a lot of it's on him. I think that's part of the job now, whether head coaches want it to be or not. I think he obviously understands how important it is. And what's the line that you always say? Are you paying for ground chuck, or are you paying for filet mignon? Right? Don't you? Isn't that what you say every couple of years when your contract is up?
That is correct.
That is the prerequisite. Like he said, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a great team and you're going to put together a great roster, because we do see there's teams that had huge payrolls this year that didn't do very well. But we talk about it with the Twins all the time and the baseball stuff. Like you do, there does have to be a little bit of a baseline. So I do think he understands how important it is. I don't think you can be in college coaching in 2025 and not get how it is. To answer your question about are there people that will donate, we'll see. We'll find out. I think PJ's done a really good job the last few years of getting out there and meeting with prospective donors personally and raising money personally, because he knows how important it is. And that's why I think you see a guy like Coy Parrish staying here as opposed to going to Ohio State. That's why I think Darius Taylor is still here. Like, those guys are all getting bigger offers for sure. But it's the prerequisite now, if you're going to be in college athletics, that the fundraising piece has to be a big part of it.
Medved made a point to say, look, we know it can't, I'm paraphrasing, but it's not all nil. You do have to continue recruiting in the state of Minnesota. A lot of coaches get here. And, Ben got some kids to stay. I mean, a prime example, it was he got Pharrell Payne, but then the money came up, and Payne got old money out of Texas A&M and left. And so, even though he's from here and he's probably good at recruiting, do you think it still comes down to the bottom line? Even if you're a kid from Minnesota, it's not the allure of the barn or play. For some kids it is playing for playing for the hometown team. But do you think it's still going to come down to money?
It depends on the kid, obviously. And like he said, I do agree with him. There is going to have to be a trailblazer here. You just see that so often. And you probably know this about me. I think the line of keeping Minnesota kids home, to me, is the most overcooked, overwrought, overused cliche about Gopher basketball, because in the history of the program, no coach has ever kept the majority of the good players home. It just hasn't happened. People, like, we couldn't keep Legend home. He wanted to go to Ohio State, right? Deuce wanted to go to Lincoln. What was he thinking? Like, it's not necessarily your typical state school that every kid in the block, in the neighborhood, grows up wanting to do. It's in a metropolitan area. We all grow up 15 minutes from it. If you live in one of the suburbs, it's just not the same as if you are Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, whatever it is, and you grow up doing that. So I've always thought that's overwrought and overcooked. Now, it doesn't make it easier if you can keep players in state, because you can go see them a lot more and their families can come to the games, of course. But he even said it. Minnesota's a piece of it, but I don't think Minnesota needs to be the be-all, end-all. Could you possibly keep a couple local kids because of local connections and because of local companies jumping up and supporting in the NIL space? Sure, that would be helpful, and I am sure that's what he's trying to do on the front end.
Where it goes the first year, I think is kind of a question. I know we know he knows his X's and O's and such like that, but I would if anybody, I think, is expecting miracles year one, probably not. Right? What do you think would be, in your mind's eye, would be a legitimate start in his first season. What do you think? A massive.
He was kind of asked about it. Can you get to the tournament in your first year? I honestly think you can, but it's because of how disruptive everything is now. There's going to be another massive turnover here with this roster, right? That like there were the last couple of years. And part of the reason why teams have jumped up and made it in year one is because you don't necessarily have to go out and wait and develop. If you have success in the portal, there's no reason, which is open, by the way, right now. I'm sure he's spending, there's someone on his staff is spending a lot of time in the portal today. The women's basketball staff was here. I walked over to them. I need a ding. Dawn Plitzowite and her staff were over there. I walked over to them. They're looking on their phones. They're in the transfer portal right now, too. They've got a game on Thursday night at Williams Arena. So you can turn it around quickly, and I think that's what Nico was talking about when this is a good time for a program like Minnesota, because if you can do it the right way, if the revenue sharing money works out, if you can get the NIL where it needs to be, you can go out and you can fund a good roster right now. There's at least, I think I saw this morning, 715 men's basketball players already in the transfer portal.
Wow.
It opened yesterday morning. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities to go get a couple of veterans, go get a couple of needs, go fill the holes that you have. So there's no reason why a program like Minnesota can't be a disruptor in this whole thing, because it's not the usual way that the game has been played the last 60 years. That's why guys like Krzyzewski, guys like Roy Williams, guys like Jay Wright, guys like Nick Saban, guys who had all the advantages for their entire coaching career, the playing field has the potential to be leveled out a little bit. You can go get players and make yourself better in a short period of time. So I think that was the thinking behind this whole move. Now that they do have rev share money that they can go grab and hopefully get the NIL where it needs to be, they can go get a good roster. And if you're 500 in the Big Ten, you're right in the NCAA tournament mix, and there's no reason that a program like Minnesota shouldn't find a way to do that. They haven't been able to do it historically consistently, but this is their latest best opportunity.
Now, you're a busy man, so as we let you go, I want to say this. It was kind of a theme or a thread that ran through the news conference. I want to welcome you home as well, because we know you've been spending an inordinate amount of time in Omaha as of late. So we just wanted to say welcome home, JG.
I don't even know what city I'm in.
Yeah, I figured as much. Thanks, my boy. Appreciate it.
Yep, of course.
That's JG. He's at the Athletes Village. I didn't know they had a village, and it takes a village, as you know. So he's at the Athletes Village. That was Nico Medved's Welcome Home news conference. He's the 19th head coach of the Minnesota Golden Gopher men's basketball program. We'll take a short break, and we'll introduce you to our producer for the day. He's so excited to be sitting in that chair again. It's been a long time. Chad Abbott, nice to see you there.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, I can tell you're so excited to be in that chair. We'll take a short break, come back with more after this here on The Fan.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a house. It's your home, the place that's filled with memories. The early days of figuring it out, to the later years of still figuring it out. For the place you've put down roots, trust Amica Home Insurance. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
Struggling to get out of bed? It might be time for an upgrade. Lisa makes exceptionally comfortable mattresses designed for every body and budget. But what truly sets them apart is their commitment to giving back. Since 2015, they've donated over 41,000 mattresses nationwide. Elevate your sleep in your space with Lisa. Go to lisa.com for 20% off their award-winning mattresses, plus an extra $50 off with promo code IHEART. That's LEESA.com. Promo code IHEART for an extra $50 off.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
You're a little rusty, aren't you?
There's new buttons. It's a new board. I don't listen to this show much.
It's a great board, though. Do you know what board you're working with right now?
I'm not familiar. No, what is it?
It's a Wheatfield.
Wheatstone.
I'm sorry, Wheatstone. It's a Wheatstone L27. You should be...
It's an LX24.
The LX24?
You wouldn't have got this one?
That's what you came up with for a forecast.
Mid-50s.
No wind direction.
We're on the windy side of the metro. Everybody knows that by now.
No low tonight, high tomorrow, no extended forecast.
Who do I look like, Paul Douglas? This is your first segment of the day, and all you have is to rip.
You're getting ripped. How dare the program director preempt the Grum for this? Highly unnecessary. If you think that was just one, how about this? I wish Nico nothing but the best, but I think I speak for me and many others when I say we'd much rather hear about Common's upcoming rounds of golf than more cliched, nothing answers that every coach has said before. By the way, where'd you hit it on one? What's your answer? You're the one that made the decision to do the news conference.
So he doesn't want a repetitive comment from a coach.
That is correct.
But he'd like to hear about your golf game.
My golf game isn't repetitive. I mean, I hit it up the gut every time in the first shot, but there's highs and lows and ebbs and flows in my round of golf. People have heard it. They want to know.
I'm going to guess he's in the minority.
Would you say that...
would you?
That JG's compromised? Because a lot of people are suggesting he's compromised.
Not at all.
This one's my favorite. Oh, hold on. Give me a second. This one says, no, that's not it. Came in later because he didn't make his appearance till late in the show. It says, KFAN's personnel should not be shills for ball players begging for even more cash. The whole thing is gross and unseemly. JG's the leading shill for the Gophers.
I mean, I don't know if I agree. Well, was he shilling?
He wasn't shilling.
Yeah.
We don't. We never let the facts get in the way of a good rip.
So your story, you just will read anything you see,
sure,
whether it's true or not.
Just pretend it's real.
That's what you do every day.
That's what I do every day.
I should start listening.
You should start listening more often.
No, I think the Gophers are great. We're really proud partners of the Gopher basketball team.
I think Nico Medved and Team Together is what we needed. I would have called it Tread Water. That would be my say. Instead of come together or team together, I would just say, let's tread water together. It's all right. You know, we talked about it in all seriousness. He's a winner. We'll see if he can win here. That's why I asked JG, how long do I have to wait? Can it happen right away? What's my expectations for the year? Or is it going to be one of those things we got to let it grow for a while?
We got to let the story play out.
We got to let it play out. We have to let it fester for a while. Is what we got to do and see where it goes.
Well, in today's day and age, you can get 3 transfers and finish 500 in the Big Ten would be an improvement. If you're fired up for.
So you're just get to 500 and you're happy.
Yeah, I'm a good mediocre guy. I mean, look at the show we're on right now. Sometimes mediocrity wins. Sorry.
It's okay. I was never asked to do any more than mediocre. Let me ask you something. Let's say you went to a restaurant. Okay?
I'm not sure where this analogy is going, but all right.
Let's say you went to a restaurant, you looked at the menu and said, whoa, prime rib. Hey, $19.99. I don't have $19.99. So you go, garçon. That's waiter in Spanish. Hey, garçon. He comes over and you go, I'd really like the prime rib, but it's $19.99. I've got $9.99. What do you think? And he's going to say, I can get you a nice London broil, but I can't get you the prime rib. So with what you're paying me, you're going to get mediocre radio. You pay me more. So I'll do a better job if you pay me more money.
So you think your salary dictates the effort you should put in?
Well, don't you think?
Well, I don't even think we're getting London broil, to be honest with you. Wow. I think you're on the cheap end in this case.
You're supposed to go, yeah,
you're the greatest. No, we're not paying you enough money. Give the common man the raise.
Did you come up with a 5-3-4? You've known you were going to do this show for a long time.
About 11:55.
About 11:55.
Yeah.
You were desperate. You were calling people that haven't worked here in 15 years to see if they would fill in.
Remember Johnny Ojampa?
You were calling Ojampa.
He texted me. I'm not kidding you.
Doc Donaldson. You were trying to get Ethan the Eel McIntosh and Davy Joe Simpson.
I miss them all day.
Would love to.
And I respect them all now more than I ever have.
Well, there's that. We'll take a break. My guess is because you're a pro, you'll come up with 5, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4 questions.
I got 5 minutes to do it.
We'll do it on the other side of the break. It's the Common Man Program. Mark Rosen here just before 2 o'clock on the Common Man Program on the Fan.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include a lot more people than ourselves. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, we help plan your financial picture with the bigger picture in mind. Because even though our business is helping guide your finances, our ambition is to make it mean so much more. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
Struggling to get out of bed? It might be time for an upgrade. Lisa makes exceptionally comfortable mattresses designed for every body and budget. But what truly sets them apart is their commitment to giving back. Since 2015, they've donated over 41,000 mattresses nationwide. Elevate your sleep in your space with Lisa. Go to lisa.com for 20% off their award-winning mattresses, plus an extra $50 off with promo code IHEART. That's LEESA.com. Promo code IHEART for an extra $50 off.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.